What's up everyone, Lance Hedrick here, and today we're going to be talking about something that's never been talked about before. It's something that's pretty huge. It's probably the greatest video of all time. We're gonna talk about the eugenoides, right? It's huge. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the Eugenioides, which has recently made a huge name for itself on the World Barista stage. A couple weeks ago, by the time this video is released, was the World Barista and World Brewers Cup Championships. The top 3 slots and the Barista Championships all used the Eugenioides, and the winner of the Brewers Cup Championship used Eugenioides. So this is a really hot coffee right now. People are, questioning, is Gesha dead and all these things. So today I'm going to talk about this. We have a great relationship at Onyx, where I work, with the farm that produces this coffee. And so I'm sure you have a lot of questions, so let's look over it right now. All right, so Eugenioides. First thing we need to understand is that it is not a variety, right? So just so everyone knows, I'm sure a lot of you already know this, but just to ensure, mostly what people talk about when they refer to species are Arabica and Robusta. Now, not everyone, a lot of people think that's really all there is, but there are hundreds of species, right? There are more and more that we are kind of understanding and recovering today. So to break this down though, varieties are kind of the branches below a species. So with Arabica, you have varieties like Gesha and Pacamara and Catora and Catuai and SL28, which is a man-made varietal in the sense that it was bred in the Scott Lab in Kenya. Anyway, so you have these varieties that are akin to apples, for instance. You have apple, which would be, I guess, the species, and you have the varieties of these apples, which would be Fuji and Granny Smith and Golden Delicious, etc. So the same thing kind of happens in coffee. Now with Eugenioides, however, it is not a variety, it's a separate species. Some say it's the progenitor of modern-day Arabica. So it is further back, more historical than the Arabica is. Now, this species is only grown in one place currently as far as producing trees. It could be planted elsewhere that just hasn't produced yet, but it is currently only being produced and harvested at Inmaculada in Colombia. Now, at Onyx, we know the producer quite well, Julian. He has visited us, and we have been using his coffee for a couple of years now. Andrea Allen, if you follow the competition circuit, has used this in the past 2 competitions in her milk course and to blend with her espresso. And like I said, the top 3 in the World Barista Championship has also used this coffee. Now, what is unique about this coffee is that it has about half the caffeine of typical Arabica. And so a lot less caffeine, maybe a fourth of the caffeine of Robusta. And caffeine contributes a lot of bitterness to your final cup. So with that lack of all of that caffeine, this coffee is ridiculously sweet. It also lacks a lot of citric acidity. So a lot of the acidity is quite mellow. So what you're finding in this coffee is an intense sweetness with a lack of bitterness and a smooth acidity. Sounds incredible, right? It's pretty nuts. So it's something that was resurrected. So Julian found on his farm these trees that were producing these odd-looking cherries. And so what they have kind of decided to do ever since 2010, when they started with 5 hectares of land for coffee producing, they have now expanded to about 50 hectares, and they have 4 different coffee farms, okay? And their goal is to produce the most wild and exotic varieties, regardless of risk or cost. And so that includes this Eugenioides, which has a very, very low production. For one tree, you're only going to get about 150 grams of unmilled coffee. So very, very low yield. Think about that. One tree, 150 grams. That's not even a full bag of coffee you buy from a coffee shop, right? So, and that's unmilled, okay? It's going to lose weight once you mill it and once you roast the coffee, and the structure, goes down during the roasting process in the sense that the weight is lessened from green to roasted, right? So anyway, let's continue on. I want to show you what this coffee looks like. So I've actually brought with me the Eugenioides roasted by Fernando from Inmaculada. So Fernando has been a great friend of ours. After Andrea competed with the coffee, we found some things that we kind of wish, tasted a little bit different. And so what Fernando did for the World Championship and leading up to it is, for the next harvest, he and a team of people at Inmaculada were working on the best way to process this coffee in order to allow these more fruit-forward notes to shine. Originally, you had a lot of more muted fruit notes. It was more like a cereal type of fruitiness, like, the milk in Fruit Loops, something like that, right? Well, they wanted to have more of an upfront fruit taste to it, and they settled on this 8-day carbonic maceration process where they were regulating the temperature, because if it went too far, if they weren't controlling it, you got more of that acetic acid taste, this more of a vinegar taste. And so they really regulated the temperature in order to ensure that it was a proper type of fermentation going on to get really fruit-forward coffees. Anyway, this was roasted by Fernando himself with his roastery O Café down in Colombia. And a friend of mine sent this to me, and so I'm excited to be able to show you coffee that was actually roasted at origin, this Eugenioides. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some out on the table, and we're going to take a look at just how small this very unique species is. Now, as you see here, now so that you can have it relative to something else, I've got some coffee my friends at Bluebird sent to me, or gave to me when I met with them in Milan. This is from Volcan Azul, and it's an Arabica species, okay? So as you see here, and this is not a Pacamaro or anything like that. I'm not quite sure on the variety. I'm not quite sure. To be honest with you, it doesn't say on the bag, so I can't be 100% positive. But it's not anything that's out of the ordinary large is all I'm trying to get at. So look how tiny Eugenioides is versus this Arabica, okay? So it's absolutely minuscule. It's extraordinarily dense with sugars, and it's just a highly sweet coffee. Okay. Now, when I taste the coffee, I get a lot of stevia tastes, and then a lot of I guess like a fake grape sweetener, and then some stone fruits, and some like strawberry jam, yogurt, those types of things. So it is a naturally processed, like I said, 8-day carbonic maceration coffee, but hearing me say that doesn't really help you, the viewer. Obviously, I can't give you this coffee through the screen. As I said, that's the only farm producing it, and they produce very little every year, and we get a lot of it at Onyx. I know that Ona in Australia gets some, and then some. Only a handful of people around the world get this coffee, so not a lot of you will be able to try it. So I want to be able to try and describe to you how this is tasting, and also to really get the point across that this is nothing like Arabica. So I know that you hear people freak out about, oh yeah, this coffee tastes like, it's juice, it tastes like grape juice, it tastes like birthday cake, it tastes like vanilla ice cream. And I know you're like, oh, you're just blowing smoke because you want to sound rad. This is so in-your-face different from any type of Arabica that I'm going to actually call my cameraman, Jason, over here to give a blind sniff on each of these. I'm going to grind them both up. I'm going to have him sniff them blind on camera. I'm going to switch them up, and he will be able to tell you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, without even thinking about it, which one is this weird species, Eugenioides. So give me a second. I'm going to grind these up. Once I snap my fingers, they'll be ground and in 2 bowls. So I just ground them up. I did 12 grams of each because we're going to brew them as well here in a second. But this one is the Eugenioides. This one is the Volcan Azul from my friends at Bluebird. Now, this one is also a processed coffee. I'm not quite sure what it is, but you can smell it is definitely a heavily processed coffee, which has a very sweet and fruity, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? Butterfly in the sky. I got to find it up there, and I got to pluck it out. I got to pluck it out. Oh my goodness. Not boozy, but fermented. So it's got this sweet, fermenty type of fruity taste. This one, it's like sugar. It's like fake sugar. It's, goodness gracious, it's almost like bubble gum on the smell. It's like bubble gum, and then it has like some strawberry notes. It's got some like sugared peach or something. I mean, it's nuts. But that fake sugar. So anyway, keep your eyes, and I'm going to call Jason over here. Jason enjoys coffee. He's not a coffee professional. He doesn't cup every day. He doesn't, he enjoys coffee, but he's not a coffee professional. So anyway, the fact that he's about to get this without thinking twice about it is going to be nuts. So Jason, I need you to turn around because I'm going to switch these up. All right, so y'all watch. This one's the huge. So I'm going to like... Okay, so we're good to go.
All right.
Smell it and you tell me.
Okay.
Now, which one smells like sugar?
This one?
Absolutely.
This is the huge.
The huge.
I've had it a few times at Onyx. It's
Yeah.
great. I love it.
It's very weird. Guava,
It's amazing.
fake sugar. Anyway, it's, golly, it just smells like fake sugar and guava, and it's Very weird. Anyway, I have some water that, I need to put this on hold. I have some water over here heating up. I'm going to brew these two. So let me grab my trusty Konos, and I'm just going to do the same brew on each. And we'll also let Jason taste and tell which is the different one. Obviously, smell is a lot harder than taste, at least in my opinion. I know a lot of people struggle on smell, but he still was able to get it. He was under pressure. That was literally the first take, so don't think we did multiple takes doing that. Anyway, all right, so I'm going to brew both of these. I'm going to clap, and when I'm done with the clap, we will have brewed it, but just know I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a 3-pour brew for each. They're both 12 grams. I'm going to do 12 to 200. Yeah. And, all right, so I have these brewed. Well, it's still draining a little bit on this side because I had to, brew one, then the other, one, then the other. This one brewed at about 322 with a minute-long bloom. I did 3 pours. This one's going to probably end up around 340 or so. So this one took just a little longer to brew. This was the Bluebird Volcan Azul. This was the Eugenioides. I did 3 pours. I did a 45-gram bloom on both. Did a slight swirl. Then I did poured up to 120 on both, and then I poured up to 200 with gentle swirls on them. This one's taking a little bit longer because it's wanting to extract more. It's allowing that water to really invade those grounds, and it's probably going to have a much higher TDS and a much higher extraction than the Eugenioides is going to have. But that's beside the point right now. This is not a brew video. This is a let me show you about this Eugenioides video. So I'm going to take these drippers, put it to the side, I'll put this one here, and when this one's done, I'll just shove it on top of that. So we have this again, this is a huge, and I'm going to pour it into this cup, and I'm going to have Jason come here in a second and taste again, or actually taste this time, whereas first time it was a smell. So there's that. We're going to take this, 1, 2, 3, bada bing, bada boom. Take that, do a little swirl. We're going to pour in here. So again, this is not a perfect test. I took a heavily processed coffee, a nice coffee, high-scoring coffee, put it up against this because they're both going to be funky, but the sweetness is going to be so different in the Eugenioides that I think anyone, regardless of who you are, is going to be able to tell the difference. So really the only way I can show that is by letting someone else do it, because I know this coffee very well. Like I said, we've been working with it for a few years at Onyx. I helped Andrea in her routine. It was a heavy component of her routine. So I'm going to have Jason come and taste these. And so, again, I'm going to switch them up. I'm going to show you which is which. Jason's going to turn around. So this one is the huge. So we're watching, okay? Y'all can see which one's the huge. I'm just going to keep pointing at it. I guess I don't really have to do much switching around because he has no idea. That one right there. Okay. All right. Here we go. Probably can tell from the smell, but we're going to let him taste. He's feeling the pressure. I told him we were going to have him do this, and he did not like that idea. But for the peeps, which one tastes like fake sugar? Oh, yeah. See how fast that was? So fast.
Huge.
It's huge.
Can I take this?
You can take it.
Perfect.
Listen, it's the greatest cup of coffee that's ever been made, ever in a million years. It'll never be topped. It's the best. The first, the greatest. It's huge. Eugenioides. I know you love the huge. I love the huge. It's a huge time. We all love the huge. Wow, I really leaned in there, didn't I? All right, so anyway, there you go. It's a crazy coffee. It's very small. It's unlike anything you've ever tasted. I'm going to be completely honest, though. It's one of those things where you either love it or you hate it. The only way I really enjoy drinking it is getting a really concentrated espresso, so something like Andrea is pulling, about 25 in, around 40 out in around 25 seconds, and then throwing it in some milk. I don't really drink milk beverages, but listen to me. If you have the resources, if you have this capability, I'm not saying to do this every day because this is a huge waste. This is very wasteful. It's a wasteful practice. I'm not condoning it, but to try it once, it's worth it. Take some milk, freeze it completely, okay? Open your milk upside down and let it slowly start to thaw. This is a trick that baristas have been doing in competitions for a few years. I know the first one that was really vocal about it was Benjamin Putt out of Canada, but anyway, freeze distilled milk. You're going to let it drip for a few hours, okay? And the first things that are going to melt are these sugars and fats that are really creamy and tasty and sweet. And what's going to be left behind are some of those salts and other things that, might not contribute to the best flavors in milk. And the way that you know it's done is, first off, the block will start to look really, not transparent, but a little translucent. And then as it's dripping, maybe take a spoon and taste. and you can see when the salty or just unfavorable flavors start to come out. Use that milk that's there. It's going to be super thick because it'll be super sweet. It'll be almost undrinkable cold because how thick and sweet it is. But take that, steam it, pull a ristretto shot of Eugenioides if you ever have the chance to get it, or just any other coffee. This is just a fun technique. Steam it, make a cortado or a cappuccino with it. Mind-boggling. But my favorite way to drink the Eugenioides is in a cortado with frozen distilled milk. I don't really enjoy the coffee as filter or even as espresso, really. It's very much from person to person. Jason loves it, which is very valid. I'm not a huge fan of it, which is also valid. There's a lot of people, I mean, the Brewers Cup champ won using it in his blend, so it's obviously very tasty. But, you know, in the same way, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of coffees. I'm just, you know, not a huge fan of this. But, man, the smell is just shocking. Anyway, I wanted to thank my friend who sent me this. You know who you are. And of course, thank you, Fernando and Julian, for all the work you do at Inmaculada. Thank you for supporting us at Onyx and coming. They came out to the World Championships to watch, and congratulations to you if you're watching this video, Julian, for the incredible success. 4 competitors used your coffees, and they all finished in the top. So pretty awesome. If you have the opportunity to buy some of this, I would suggest doing it. I know that we at Onyx, if you're in the States or if you're willing to ship, we'll release some, I'm sure, at some point soon. Of course, this won't age well, so I may try to come back and delete this part if you're watching this, 6 months, 8 months, a year in the future or further. Anyway, Eugenioides, progenitor of modern Arabica, supposedly, different species, resurrected by Inmaculada, incredibly small yield, 150 per tree, grams per tree, so it's going to be difficult to find. But now you know why it's been taking the world by storm, why it's, Geshe is dead, is a lot of what people are saying. It's a truly special coffee. It will completely shift your paradigm on what coffee can be, and it will get your mind outside of this Arabica-only idea. I wanted to give a shout out to Hugh Kelly, whose competition routine was based on non-Arabica coffees. He used Lorena and Eugenioides in his routine. Very cool. Just understand that there's 100 other species out there. It's not just Arabica. It's worth perusing some of these, looking into them. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. If you made it this far, I appreciate you a lot. Please like, subscribe. Check out my Patreon below in the caption. Any of this is super helpful for me. I know you may think that hitting the like button or the subscribe doesn't help much. It really, really does. I'm using my hand gestures a lot to really get the point across to you, because it really does. Helps a lot. There are direct correlations when videos get more likes, with them trending longer, lasting longer, helping me get more support. So anything that you do is super helpful, and I'm just going to keep up with the arm motions because we're drinking huge. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's the greatest video you've ever seen in your whole entire life, and it's huge. So anyway, thanks so much. Cheers.